Hello and welcome. I must be the one starting off
Good morning.
Today. I'm glad that you're tuning in. My name is Steve. Welcome to KetoMom. I'm not KetoMom. This is Stephanie. Welcome to our back porch. We are going to talk to you today about the pursuit and how sometimes in life it's easier to quit. Sometimes it's easier just to throw in the towel. But I don't really think that's what you're called or created to do. So, let's dive in.
Good morning. As you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? We're sitting on our porch in Minnesota, our back porch, which overlooks a beautiful lake and lots of fun little toys. And so we're sitting outside, and we came out, and my husband was like, I have to sit in the sun. It's cold.
It is cold in the shade.
We were saying how funny it is that in the spring in Minnesota, 65 feels incredible, even 55 in the spring. Right? And then as you go into the fall, if you understand the Minnesota seasons, it's freezing. And so right now I was like, is it funny that we say that 65 feels cold?
Burn. So where are you tuning in from today? What's your weather like?
What's the weather like? And not just to ask it. I'm actually curious. I think it's fun to see where you're tuning in from.
It's funny. They usually say when your conversation turns to weather, the conversation's usually over.
It's done. That's not the reason. We actually like to know.
You're tuned in and you're still listening. So we're going to talk all about how success is all about failure.
All right. So here's the... Is our video backwards? Oh, that's annoying. Should we flip it or no? It doesn't matter. Hey.
We have dogs that have squeakers in their mouth. Can you?
I can.
I'm sure you got.
All right. So here is what I want you to know. We are going through a book.
Bam! Just like that. Look at that.
The book is called The Pursuit. We've been going through it all month. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com. It's our blog website that you can click on Book Club and see all of the books that we've gone through over the last year. So today's chapter 23, we are going to get through this book, and it's going to be done by the end of this month, which means we only have until Monday, right?
Monday.
Oh, no. That's the 4th. We only have until...
Do we got to cram in
Sunday.
Extra sessions?
Yeah, we are going to actually.
All right, we're going to cram in extra
because
sessions.
We're going to start the book called...
The Power of One More
by Ed Milet. It's going to be incredible if you want to grab the book and follow along. Awesome. If you just want to tune in here, totally fine. Today's chapter 23, it's called Success is All About Failure. Mistakes have hidden powers to help us, but they fail in that mission when we blame other people for our mistakes. When you use excuses, you give up your power to change and improve. Never mind those who praise, but be careful for those who blame. That is the start of this chapter. Hey, Ranger. No.
Whoa, I may have to go get a sweatshirt.
We talk about, you can if you want to.
I'm going to get fired up for a second.
We talk about blaming, shaming, and justifying. Oftentimes I'll hear people say, I am the way I am today because of either like, hey, I was raised by a great mom, dad, person, grandma, or listen, I am the way I am because my parents didn't teach me. I didn't have the right upbringing. My boss is, my friends are, I don't have, I was like... People blame where they're at today because of other people. Mm-hmm. And so something we talk about in our home often with our kids is, hey, stop blaming other people. Sometimes you have to own it. There are things that happened in your past 100% that affect the way you are today. So maybe if we're just talking about fat loss, maybe you're like, well, listen, I never was taught to eat healthy. I never was given healthy food. I grew up, my parents did, I didn't have. And... I don't know if there's any non-adults on here, but I'm going to guess every person on here is an adult. There comes a time in life when, as an adult, you've just got to draw a line in the sand and own where you're at and stop blaming the past or other people and go, I'm going to decide to be a better person. I'm going to make better decisions. I'm going to own the choices I make and stop blaming it on anybody else.
That's so powerful. I'm sitting here just thinking about all the times in my life where, have you ever just been in that, I'd say, sitting on that line? Like where you're like, oh, I now have the awareness, or I say I want to get in better shape, and there's the dessert line, or
yes,
no lie, the cookie's sitting right in front of me.
No, we don't have cookies in front of us, but
I'm not. Yeah, I've got my ketones right here, but I'm just saying. I was kind of painting a picture.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been in that moment where it's like, okay, right now is that defining.
This is the line
moment. Are you going to hold the line? You're going to say, I'll start tomorrow. And then how many times do you justify in your mind? Like, it's so easy to justify. So we're not here to point or to poke. Maybe you poke a little bit. This is what I know though, is we're even talking, there was, back in the day, I would go to Stephanie's family's events and I would just get frustrated about certain stuff.
We've been having a lot of life talk with our kids.
This, I don't know, just say years ago, and I'd get frustrated about things, and then I'd say, I don't know what I would do. I'd either show it through my face, or I would probably verbally say something, and then it would cause frustration, or it was like, I'm mad, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Okay.
But then she'd try to justify for me, well, he's just, he's having a hard day, or something's going on. And then eventually one day she just told me, she just said, I'm done. Like, I'm done making excuses for you. If you're going to choose to be a jerk, then you're just going to have to deal with the consequences.
It is true.
And so I say all of that just to say,
Stop.
I loved what Stephanie said. And I don't know where the dog's got all these squeaker toys. But there's going to be a day where you're going to have to decide.
Like with the squeaker.
I'm done. Now they're running. They're all over the place. You're going to have to just decide, like, what is it that I want? And when your awareness is keen on it, like, you just have to take the right action. You're just going to have
100%. 100%. And so he talks about that. He says, here's the deal. Well, he doesn't say, here's the deal. I say that all the time. But he says, as you're pursuing better and you have this realization of we're not going to blame or shame or justify things from the past, we're going to move forward, you're going to fail.
That's a part
Anybody in life who, if you look at, I'm going to guess you look at people on social media, you look at people in your environments, and you've probably thought at one point in time, oh, they were lucky. Oh, they just got lucky. Wish I had their life. And he talks about that. He talks about the people that you're looking at. If they have the success that you want, or you think they're successful, they have failed many times over again, and they've gotten back up. There's a difference between failing and failing and learning, and failing and quitting.
That's really
right?
good.
So he says it's always better to fail in doing something than to excel at doing nothing. A flawed diamond is more valuable than a perfect brick. People who have no failures have no victories. Success is not what people think it is. Success is all about failure. The person who fails the most normally succeeds at the highest level. And so we can have just conversations about the keto diet, right?
Yeah.
This healthy lifestyle.
That's why you're here.
And oftentimes people will go, well, I failed at this diet. I've done all of the things. I can't get healthy. I don't know. Blaming parents, blaming things in their past. And you want to know what? Or just a simple conversation. I had somebody message me last night going, oh my goodness, I failed because I had some wine this weekend and now I think I wrecked everything that I've done. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Listen, we say it all the time. The only way you fail is if you quit. So if you don't quit and you keep moving forward, you're not going to fail. And,
I was going to say, but think about that. Even in that story, the awareness now that she has.
Yes.
And I think that's the key, is when, kind of just like when Stephanie
it's like
stopped making excuses for me and I had to own my emotions, right?
Right.
But I now had an awareness of it. So when you have the awareness, that's the moment where you're going to actually be able to have the breakthrough.
Right.
Sometimes, like, if it's all of the reasons of why you are where you are today because of all of the reasons that you said, the past, family, I wasn't taught this, I didn't know this. Well, what's happening now is you're starting to have an awareness for what's good, what's helpful, and what's bad and what's hurtful.
Right.
So you've got a new filter. And when you've identified and you can process things through a new filter, you now know what's going to help you or hurt you. And that's the beautiful thing about being on the pursuit. That's the beautiful thing about living life to the fullest and not just taking life as like happenstance. It's like you get to create it.
Right.
You get to create your future. And if the past wasn't the greatest, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a terrible future. It means that you now have an awareness for it, and we can pivot, we can make some changes, we can create some new environments, we can create some new products, we can create new mindsets, we can create new ideas, we can instill some new values into our family, and that's what creates a better future.
Right. 100%. And I love that. I love that you said that. I was thinking, oftentimes people expect perfect. They expect that if they do one thing wrong, it's all done. They give up super easily. And I just want you to know, like, one choice, one day, one weekend, one something doesn't wreck everything that you've ever done, right? So to that lady that I was having the conversation with, I was like, you enjoyed your weekend and now you get back on track, right? You had a great time with your family. It's the awareness of, and now you get back on track. Oftentimes I'll say this, if you're just thinking about your diet or your health or your lifestyle, the only diet or lifestyle that's going to work for you is the one you stick with long term, even through the failures, or even through that weekend, or even through the birthday party, even through when you chose not the right options, you get back up and you keep going. Sure, you might have had a failure, if that's considered a failure or a choice, and you keep going.
I love that.
So, he says, a winner takes a problem and converts it into a solution. He takes a tragedy and creates blessings out of it.
I got something for that.
Yeah.
All right, so when was it? 10 days ago? 9 days ago?
I don't know what
Our
you're talking
daughter, I know, 9 days ago was a
Oh,
Saturday.
yeah, Emery.
It was a Saturday that our daughter got reared, thrown off a horse, big
Yep.
horse, tiny. I mean, she's not a big girl.
She's little.
She was whipped
Like maybe 100 pounds.
Her head hit the ground so hard, and so I would say out of that would have been seen as a tragedy.
Right.
Right. So whenever you have a child who's been hurt, whenever you know someone who's going through hardship, it's an opportunity for you to kind of walk through it, and you're kind of being tested by the fire. Like, where are you at with your faith? Where are you at with your beliefs of creating a better future? Things like that.
Yep.
And so, I mean, we talk often. I feel like we made a kind of a shift a couple months ago when we went through the book Kazone.
Yeah.
And just helping you realize how the spiritual aspect to your life is so important. And for us, it's the foundation of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And so in this tragedy of seeing our daughter get thrown off a horse and getting her seen put onto a bed, moved into the ambulance, like carted away in an ambulance to go to an emergency room to get these CT scans, the whole time we were praying over our daughter. We were speaking life over our daughter. Mm-hmm. And to see where she's at today, it's a miracle. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a miracle to see how fast she recovered from that instance. And so what I just want, the reason why when I saw this, like, if I'm just curious, like, what would have happened if our words would have been like, oh, her legs aren't responding, she's paralyzed.
Yeah.
You know, she fell and she hit her head, like, she's got brain damage. It wasn't the case. Like, we watched our words. We spoke life over our daughter. We had faith for a better future.
Yeah.
And so I just know this, like, I know that God in that moment worked a miracle, and he's working things for the good. Like, we've got an appointment with a new doctor on Wednesday to just to get another opinion and to do some really cool therapies. But I will say this, in the last handful of days, it's been 8 days. And in 8 days, we've been divinely connected with a whole bunch of a new community of people mm-hmm. out of all this. And so I wanted to share that story with you because I wanted to encourage you that, to me, I'm like, there's also different levels of like tragedy
right.
and or failure. Like, to me, eating the Oreo cookie is not on the level of like someone in your family getting injured.
Yeah.
Right? Like, going to the buffet line and eating an extra 5 pounds of food and like walking away feeling like, oh, I'm going to puke.
Right.
I ate way too much food. Or going out with some friends that night. And honestly, like, I feel like that is like down
There's
here compared to serious life things.
For sure.
But the goodness of God is just this. Like, he can work through those instances.
Yeah.
On the low levels and on the high levels. And so what I wanted to do, truly encourage you, is no matter what your weekend was like, no matter what your past week, last month,
yeah.
the entirety of your life, the future of it can be truly remarkable if you let it become that.
It's good.
And if you create it.
I love that. He says success. I don't know why I have such
you
a
like
problem.
That word.
Success. Success consists of getting up just one more than you fall. One more time.
One more time. Getting up one more time.
Yep. Not having that mindset of, well, it's even like, well, I failed my diet. I'm just going to be the way I am.
The Oreos.
Right?
I'm going to eat the whole
Or
sleeve.
even Emery being like, well, I was kicked off the horse. I'm never going to touch a horse again. We're working through that. Again, there's different levels. Like,
yes.
Do you eat the Oreo? Do you not? Do you get back on the horse? Do you not? right?
So,
but it's a mindset. All of it is a mindset. It's an awareness of understanding
for sure.
the people that you're watching, that you're pursuing to maybe be like, or to model, or to pursue better in your life, have all fallen off the horse.
Yeah.
In different levels, right?
Yeah. So then it says,
All right.
I know. We're probably not going to dive into that aspect of it, like what we're personally going to do with our daughter and what that looks like, because we're still figuring that out.
Yeah.
But what I would just say, in your life, you've probably identified those areas that you know you can improve, that you can get back up on the horse.
Right.
I would say get back on the horse would equal like push the dessert away. It'd be like push the wine away. When you go out for dinner with your family, or if you're going out to eat, it's like, I'm not going to order the gigantic lemonade or the sparkling whatever drink it is. I'm going to get water.
And if you do, you get back up and you keep going.
If my budget's not like in a good place, it's because I'm spending more than I'm making, which is actually most Americans.
Right.
And I would love to talk more about finances on another day, but like you can win in that area as well. Like you can create more than's going out.
Yeah. So he has a section where he says, don't create bitterness. So if you are blaming, shaming, justifying,
Really
getting
good.
frustrated, can cause bitterness or a root of bitterness in your life. And he talks about, he said, you can't get bitter or you won't get better. Right? So he says, you look at different things in your life, and if you allow that into your life, so he talks about, I mean, all of this is great. He talks about not having luck, not having, like, looking at people's lives. He talks about being blessed. He talks about not blaming people. He talks about not letting that root get inside of you. It's all about awareness. Man, that word is like our word of the year.
Yeah. It's something that we're teaching
our children
and ourselves. We're walking through it.
Right. He talks about life isn't fair, but the circumstances you've been given. He says everybody has to bring up. He says if everybody had to bring their cross and put it on a pile and look at what was theirs, most of us would take their cross home with us. Wait, what? Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
This is perfect.
It's an old saying.
Okay, so
I didn't read the whole part. Sorry.
No, you highlighted it. It's actually really good. I was sitting here thinking before you even read that. I'm like, how could we tie in what we learned yesterday from Pastor Shuri about hearing
this is so
other
good.
people's offenses?
Yeah.
This is
yes.
it.
All right.
See,
all right.
This is it. I was like, my
So,
wife's pretty fired up about
At
this.
church, one of the pastors got up and she said, you know what? She said, here's one thing that the devil will try to do to you every single day, which will cause a root of bitterness. As she says, it is easy to get offended. It's easy to hold on to offense. It's easy to look at other people and blame and shame. And she goes, if people carry around this offense
Yeah.
all the time,
This
in
is
the
key.
littlest
This
circumstances.
is so key.
And she said, just think if everybody could just like have an awareness of, I'm not going to be offended, the way you looked at me, the way you talked to me, the text that you sent me, because I actually don't know what's going on in your life. Like if we could just brush things off in general and just love people and love ourselves, how much further would you go? Like if you could just, isn't it interesting how easily, especially with technology and the way that we don't actually pick up the phone and call people, or the lack of communication, or that person said, or they looked at me wrong, or they think that I am, how that causes this like root that is going to, you're going to see it in every area of your life, being offended.
This is key. It's everything.
Like you might be offended that we said God, right? You might be offended that I don't know. But if you could just look at and realize people aren't out in general, people are good. People want to help other people. If you're watching the news, shut it off. If you're watching like crazy social media stuff, like shut it off and realize that I truly believe that people want to help others. They have a good motive to help others. They're not meaning to offend you. We had to have this conversation with our girls. Like there's an awareness in life. There's awareness of how you treat people, how they treat you. And there's I'm just going to brush that off because it's not about me. It's probably about you, how you talked to me, how you treated me, the things that were said or not said, the looks that you gave me. Like most of the time has nothing to do with you and everything about them and where they're at. And you have to be okay with just going, I'm just not going to take that. And I'm going to keep moving forward.
Man, this is so good.
So I don't know. I don't remember what you were saying.
I'm taking this all in. No, you not owning the offense, not being offended,
Yeah.
It tied in perfectly with, I didn't even know you were going to read that, but it worked perfectly. So I'm just curious, think about that today. Think about what are the things that are making you upset? What are the offenses that you're personally holding on to? What are the areas, the failures, the things that are kind of frustrating you that you're probably putting a lot of time, energy, and attention on those things? What are the things that you can let go of? And where can you walk into to create a better future? So many, I mean, we've talked about...
This whole book is great.
It really is.
I like this part. You want to read that?
Go, which one?
Well, it says, the greatest mistakes you can make in life is to continually fear that you will make one. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't waste your energy trying to cover up failures. If you're not failing, you're not growing.
Have you identified
And
some
don't be offended.
failures this week that you'd like to share?
Oh, my nose is so tickly.
I mean, Stephanie, I've always said I'm the one who makes the mistakes. Stephanie is
Have I failed this week?
Stephanie is pleasantly perfect
Listen, I have to
in
think.
every way.
Yeah, no, not Mary Poppins.
No? Can you think of any? Where you're like,
I don't
yep,
know.
I've worked through this. I'm putting her on the spot.
I mean, I'm sure.
Nothing comes to mind.
I have to think.
While you're thinking, nothing pops into your head.
No. I'm not, my mind wasn't like, what did I do this week that I failed? We all fail. We yell at a kid. We make a wrong choice. I don't know.
Nothing.
Yeah, I know. I actually, I did fail because I handled a situation poorly at church, and I let my face show frustration when I should have just had forgiveness. And so, yeah, for sure. I got frustrated with a circumstance that was, I should not have been offended, but I was offended that I didn't get the phone call, and then I was frustrated, and then I was like, that's super dumb. It doesn't need to be.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that what you're asking me?
Sure. Yep. So hopefully today's been an encouragement to you all. Spend some time thinking about it.
Y'all are going to fail.
It was
You're going to have to get back up.
Yesterday, someone said to me, she said, something for you, Steve, if you get time to think about this week. Or like, it was funny because it was funny. We all laughed after she said it, but essentially it was like, Steve, spend some time thinking about this.
Wait.
And then you weren't actually in the room.
Ah, I missed it. What was the conversation?
It doesn't matter, but it was funny because it's the same, if our friends are watching this right now, it's the same friends that give me a hard time that say I don't do anything.
Yeah.
And all they typically say is all Steve does is sit around and think.
Yeah.
And then the comment was like, if you get a chance, think about this. It was just, I know this is kind of stupid, a roundabout way of like,
I just don't know where you're going, but
my encouragement to you is just, I'm stirring it up.
Okay.
I'm stirring it up. That's what I'm doing. My encouragement to you is, actually, because most people are so busy.
Yeah.
They don't stop to think.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't stop to plan.
To process.
They just don't put it
Sit in the quiet for 2 minutes.
Yes.
I know I have to do that.
So, and this, I'm also saying this because I know you're the same way. You run and gun. You answer so many questions, and you're connected to so many people, and I love that about you. And I would encourage all of you.
But what were you told, and why were you saying that? Because you were told that you need to think, but then you always think. So
yes, they were. Yes, she was trying to give me an idea, like, oh, Steve, you should stop and think about something this week. That's it. Like it was, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Steve. All he does is think.
Oh.
I'm saying that because I'm encouraging you. Pause. Think. Come up with a game plan. Find out what things that you're letting offend you. Think about the stuff that you're wanting to create, the dreams. Like, put things into motion this week. Like, today be the week that you just pause, you pump the brakes for just a second, and it's not a failure to pause, right?
Right.
Come up with a game plan, dream for big things, and think of what a better future could look like.
And the only thing, if it's holding you back because you think, if I fail, I might fall, I might mess it up. And if you don't do something because of that, then you're not going to go anywhere.
It's true.
Because everybody has failed. Anybody who you're watching that has any type of success that you think is success is because they failed over and over again and they got back up. That's it.
That's good. So it sounds like we're going to have to come back on. We're going to reverse engineer this.
We're going to count our days.
7 more days, and we've got...
Well, some of these have been... No, we don't have 7 days, Steve.
No, I mean 7 more chapters.
Oh, yeah.
3 more days. So that means we're going to have to come back on here
But some of these are, honestly, we've kind of talked about them, the pursuit of excellence, like doing things with excellence.
Excellence. Excellence, and should we just
Right.
knock it out right now?
Success is a habit. Sure.
Some people on here are gonna be
I mean,
like, man, this is the longest
It might
slide
be long.
we've ever done.
It is. It is.
All right,
it
we're
is.
gonna go
No,
into the
but
next
here-
chapter.
But it.
Let's just do it.
Okay, so
Let's
you
just do it.
failed. You failed. It's okay. Get back up because you're going to fail again. And then the next part is just success is being in the pursuit of excellence. So why don't you just talk about what excellent means to you? Because we actually do like that word in our family. There's certain words that will be like, awareness is key, right? Pay attention to what other people are doing. Have awareness for others. We talk about failure. We talk about getting back up, and the word excellence, which we like.
Excellence inspires.
Not perfection. Sorry.
Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Excellence honors God and inspires people.
Yep.
And excellence does not mean perfection. Okay, so often we get caught up in this mindset of like everything that I have to do, it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And
He says, in the race for excellence, which is not perfection, but doing the best you can in the moment that you're at with the things you have.
yes,
That is pursuing excellence. Not being lazy, not being like, oh, I will only half do it. Like, you do it with everything in you. You do it with excellence, or you pursue excellence. But he says, in the race for excellence, there is no finish line. He talks about how, like, you're constantly pursuing better. I think sometimes people get offended by that because you should be content or you should be thankful, and there's always gratitude, there's always thankfulness. But if you're not pursuing better, how can you bless other people? And if you're not pursuing better, that means to me that you're feel like you're sitting and then you're going to fall back. I don't know.
that's really
Excellence.
good. Wow.
God made you to be the best, not to be second class. He made you to pursue everything in your life that he's called you to do with excellence, with the best that you possibly can do it.
I love all those are some
That's
really
it.
great nuggets. Let's just run into the next chapter.
All right.
Because that chapter
That's it.
is legitimately like 2 pages, but that's our encourament to you, is that excellence.
Do you do things
is not
half-heartedly?
perfection. Just do the litmus test today.
What's that?
Like, just do a quick test. Ask yourself the question, like, am I chasing perfection or am I doing my best?
Right.
Am I doing my best? If I'm not doing my best, what can I do just a little bit better? Where can I put a little bit more time, effort, and energy into?
Yeah.
And,
All right.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time,
Yeah.
you may identify like I'm putting my time, my effort, and my energy into the wrong things.
Right.
We can change that. We can change that today.
All right.
How?
By
We can
creating
make some
habits.
new
That's
habits.
the next one.
See,
So we
this
talked
is
about
so perfect.
failing. We talked about getting back up.
This
we talked
is-
about pursuing
Some
things
people
with
charge
excellence.
$1 million for this type of information. Come to our $100,000 seminar. We're going to give you.
He's a joking.
I am kidding.
Hop on our lives. Success is a habit. He says men and women who succeed create habits, and the habits create men and women. If you have not read the book, The Miracle Morning or Atomic Habits,
Go check it out at the book.
go to
club.
KetoMomSecrets.com, click on Book Club. We've read those books, I think, almost twice here in the last year on these. Those books are incredible. The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is like this big, teeny tiny, to help you create systems and habits. The Atomic Habits book is thicker, like this big, but incredible to understand that if you can't create healthy habits, or if you don't take time to create them, well, you're going to have bad habits.
For sure.
I don't
So, hey, real quick,
Success
since we're
is a
talking
habit.
about habits, what are some
Yeah.
habits that you've seen over in the past? Like, just say 10 years or in the last year, what are some habits that you've developed where you're like, I'm so thankful I created those habits? What would be some of them for you?
Well,
personally?
getting up and reading in the morning. Hands down, no matter what, getting up and working on our mindset before doing anything else has changed the way that you look at life, our gratitude. Am I going to have a good day or a bad day? Like, it's a choice. But getting up and learning personal development and working on me
Yourself.
so that we can overflow into our children, into our team, into anybody else around us is hands down the number one thing that I tell people. I would say reading books, reading your Bible, taking time to pray, and being thankful in the morning will change your entire day.
Perspective.
Yes.
Gives you a new perspective.
It's
All
a
right, this is
habit that
fun.
has to be created.
Okay, so what about a habit in relationships? What's like a habit that you've developed in the last while that you're like, this, okay, rapid fire. This is what's really fun. We're going to talk about success and habits directly from KetoMom. We're going to hit the different areas of life, and we're going to see what habits that she's added, 1, 2, or 3 habits in every bucket that's been a huge success to Stephanie. So
All right.
how about in the realm, in the zone of relationships, what are some relationship habits that you've added recently?
I think in our relationship, I think we do a good job at going on dates.
Okay.
So that's a habit.
Okay.
I think we do things in front of our children. So I feel like we openly communicate in front of, but that doesn't seem like a habit to me. That's just something that you're going to have to help me think about this. What is a habit in relationships? So I guess a habit for us would be we go on dates, or we talk about what God is doing in our life together.
How about you've been intentional making
We are
some phone calls?
intentional with relationships. So intentionally pursuing relationships like mentors or we did that, right? So relationships are important to us. So finding the people that help us grow and intentionally getting together, having people over, hospitality is something that's huge for our family. So being intentional. If I think of relationships, I think of habits, I think of intention.
Okay. How about in our finances? What would be some habits that we've instilled in the last 10 years with our finances?
I think we ebb and flow, but we constantly talk about what we're spending. Not like, we'll be like, is this a good idea? You're always saying to me, let me talk about our money with you. Hey, I need to give you an awareness. If I think about finances and habits, I think about awareness and conversation so that you are on the same page with your spouse, or so that you're spending your money wisely.
Okay. So how about this will be fun because this is why most of you are here. What are some habits that you've been working on that you've seen value in so other people can learn from you? How about in the category of health? What are some habits that you've instilled
So
in the last 10 years?
From the very beginning, habits of being mindful about when I'm eating, habits of drinking ketones, habits of nothing else in my cup besides ketones and water. So awareness, again, a habit of
how can people get ketones
not eating if I'm not hungry. Well, ketones, I talk about it all the time. If you want to drink ketones, if you've never drank them, like I share them all the time, but it's post ketones in the comments and we can chat. But it's something that we have, a tool that we've used to help us go further faster in our health.
I love it. All right, so how about a habit in your spiritual life? What does that look like?
Getting up. It's having an attitude of gratitude. I honestly get up and I every day. Well, today was a little bit later. I normally in my bed go, all right, God, today's going to be a great day.
We stayed up really late last night talking to our kids.
And
midnight? I don't think we
know.
got to bed till midnight.
We just had some great, we had some conversations that needed to be had. So good conversations, like
Always.
Awareness with our kids. And then I always go, okay, what are we going to do today? And then I like to say what I'm thankful for. I like to read my Bible.
All right, so how about in the category of work? That's the last category. So in your work, what kind of habits have you developed to create a better work life?
I think of communication, if I were to pick a word. So in my work life, a habit would be I really just try to over communicate with people, giving them ideas. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not really a habit.
Let's read one quote out of this chapter. Hopefully that was helpful.
I don't know. When you confess failure, you possess failure. You need to learn to get up in the morning with a habit of confessing success.
It's that filter that we talked about.
Get up in the morning. What are you thinking about? So that's super powerful.
God didn't make you to survive the rest of your life.
Doesn't matter how much I believe in you, you have to choose to believe in yourself. I like that.
So important. Ooh.
All right.
That's a big one.
We had to change some habits and do some things we've never done before. So in general, like if you want better in any area of your life, we talked about the book KetoMom. You can go to KetoMom Secrets, go to book club, but the book KetoMom talks about different areas of your life, your relationships, your spiritual, finances, your work, your health, right? And so if you need to change something in any of those areas, you're going to have to look at the habits you have and redo them, make a shift, create healthy habits. And so it's uncomfortable when you have to do things that you've never done before. It stretches you and it makes you uncomfortable. But the good news is that when God stretches you, you never come back to your original shape. You will grow. So what area in your life do you need to grow?
We're talking about positive growth.
What area in your life do you need to confess success?
That's
or
good.
confess like positive? Do you need positive affirmations? Do you need to shift your thinking?
Yep.
It starts with your thinking. Starts with the words that are coming out of your mouth, and then growing and being stretched in those areas of doing different things that will get you to where you want to go. That's it.
Man, we covered so much in today's live. I hope that this was valuable for you. For those of you who are still hanging on and holding out, like This was a long one. This was 3 days jam-packed into one. We've talked a lot about success. We've talked about habits.
Failure.
We talked about failure. We talked about your filter, your awareness, not being offended by other people. This is a jam-packed one.
real.
So
There's
for
one
those of
thing you
you
take
who
away.
are just tuning in right now, I'd
Brush
encourage
off
you
that.
to watch this again. If you've got more questions about these types of topics, we went through them in previous books as
Yeah.
well. So go to KetoMom Secrets and go click on Book Club. There's so much great information there. If more than likely because you're on this page, because you wanted something to deal with health and with fitness, and as Stephanie talked about with her Mom Fuel, like legit, that's one of the best keystone habits that you can start with.
For sure.
I would call it the ketone habit. Just get your mom fuel, get your dad fuel. Go check that out, Keto Mom Secrets. If you want to know more, you can just comment Mom Fuel down below. We'll get you some information on ketones. If the finances aspect of it's like, oh my goodness, we're in this type of an economy right now. And if you're looking for something, you know what? You want to know more about like what we do to help with that, you can just type in community down below and we can see if what we do is a good fit for you and your family. We'd love to talk to you more about that. But honestly, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking this out. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was a benefit for you. Share this with somebody. Tag somebody's name down below if they need to hear one of the, how long has it been? Probably 50 minutes that we've been rambling. If there was something in there that was beneficial for them or you thought of them, please share this with them. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for committing to better.
Yeah.
And thank you for showing up. Your presence does matter.
We appreciate you.
Have a
We'll
great
talk
day.
to you later. Bye, everybody.